Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. Alright. Shalawam, Shalawam. It's your brother Yerami Kazak, back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kadash. As always, we're going to start first and give our praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kadash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah is the Father's true name. That means He is, He exists. Yahawashi is the Son's true name. That means He saves, He delivers. And Barak Kodash is how you say a spirit that's holy, a spirit that's set apart. Alright? So this is important to call upon those names. That's in the Lashawan Kodash, the holy language, the holy tongue, also known as the ancient Hebrew or the Paleo Hebrew. Right? So when we call upon our power, once again, we call upon Yahawah and Yahawashi. Alright, Bahasham in the name of the Holy Spirit. Okay, no other names, not JC, not Yahuwah, not Yeshua, not Jehovah, not any of those different type of names. Alright. And second of all, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well, in sincerity taught us His truth. And Shalawam to the Lord told for elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. It's your brother Yerami Kazak, as always. Alright. Back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kadash. Alright, this one is going to be entitled Mental Warfare. Mental Warfare. I have a video to play, and we're going to, go through a lot of it, or some of it, because it's about an hour long. Alright, but before we go there, I want to actually type in, okay, and just understand what your mental is. If you don't know what your mental is. So let's go to Halalyam online. Alright, and just simply type in mental. Mental, and it says early 15th century, in, of, or pertaining to the mind. Now, the Bible calls the mind the what? The heart. La'ab. The heart. Okay? So this is, this is where it all stems from. The way that you acting, the way that the things that you do, the actions that you're doing, is stemming from your mind, your heart, your mental. Okay? In, of, or pertaining to the mind, characteristic of the intellect. From late Latin mentalis of the mind, from Latin mens genitive, mentis, mind. All right. Let me see if it's any more on this. This thing going slow. Mind, from paru, men, to think. In Middle English also, of the soul, the spiritual. Right? As done or performed in the mind, meaning crazy, deranged, is by 1927, probably from combinations such as mental, patient, etc., etc. Well, when you call somebody mental, you say this individual is mental. It's referring to them being crazy, right? But the point we're using is the earlier points, meaning of the soul, spiritual, the heart, the mind, to think, right? So your mental, your mindset, your mentality, right? Let's get that one, because that's also aligning to this. Your mentality, that's going to be, set up by your mental. Your mentality. Mental action or power. From, same thing, mental, the sense of intellectual activity. Mental character or disposition. So the way that you the way that you act is coming from, once again, as we said, the mind. So let's get some precepts, because the Most High, He always told you, man. All right, write these laws in your heart. Okay, this is Proverbs 3, and we'll start at the top. My son, forget not my law. How do you remember stuff? In your memory, which is in your mental, in your mind, your heart. So you forget stuff in your mind. and you remember stuff in your mind. Remember, you're re-provoking, or you're rejigging, you're bringing back the mental. You're bringing back these memories by remembering them. All right? So my son, forget not my law. Don't forget these things, but let thine heart, that's your mental, keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. So as long as you remember these laws, commandments, and statutes, and what? Be a doer, not just a hearer, but be a doer of the word. All right? As long as you remember them and keep them, then it should what? It should add life to you. All right? For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So you need to write the laws, commandments, and statutes in your mental. Right? Now, how do you do that? You could write them down, writing them on paper, or you could study them. Okay? Read them, reading the law. This is why you don't just read Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, all right, Numbers one time. You read it multiple times. You constantly go over it because you want to cement them. You want to write them in your mind. So the ones that's really going to make it is the ones that's diligent and that have a good understanding of this thing, which is the hopeful elect. All right, the men that study. You have to love Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So you have to go and engage with him. Okay, as he's knocking on the door, you have to let him in and you have to engage with him. All right, having a form of intercourse, okay, mentally, intellectually, dealing with him. Because he's training up your mentality to get you where you need to be. He's the law. He's the lamp. He's that light, right? That's going to put you in the correct course to get you on the right path, man, to get you to that destination where we all trying to go, which is in those chariots and those everlasting bodies, where then we will no longer have mental warfare. In the kingdom, we're not going to be fighting thoughts. We're not going to be fighting, man, is that brother righteous? No, every single brother is going to be righteous of our nation. So we're not going to have to consider and think, is it a Judas in our mix, right? Or why this brother tripping on me? Or why he thinking I'm not righteous? None of those thoughts, none of those things are gonna be an option amongst Yasharahla, man. Okay, so it's a beautiful time when we don't have to have warfare anymore in the mental, in the psychological, in the physical, in the emotional. We ain't gonna be crying anymore. We ain't gonna be having emotional pain anymore, right? We're gonna be at rest from all the different type of ways that we are being afflicted right now. All right? So, what does it say? Verse 4. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of power and man. Trust in Yahawah with all thine heart, with all your mental, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear Yahawah and depart from evil. So don't be wise in your mind thinking that your way is the correct way. You have to what? Acknowledge him in all thy ways. Seek the scriptures. Apply the scriptures to your life. Okay? In every aspect of your life. All right? Consider what's really going on, and are you moving as a biblical man would? Okay? Because we stem back to the Bible for everything. That's the origin of every action that we do, or it should be. Okay? But when you don't operate according to the scriptures, that's when you end up in some shit. And you know it. Because you didn't operate according to the Bible. You didn't operate according to how you were supposed to do it. Now you ended up, messing with another man's wife or something like that. Right? You ended up smoking. Right? You ended up, pitch black drunk somewhere. You understand? Because you're not operating in the way that the scriptures said to operate. So therefore, the prosperity that was going to be added to your life is taken away. And you're in a position of straits. You're in a position where you're like, damn, man, Yahawah ain't with me right now, because you wasn't with him in your ways. You wasn't with him in your decisions. So therefore, how could he be with you? He's not going to rock with you when you're doing some stuff that goes against what he said. What parent would rock with you? Your dirty ass room. You need to clean it up. Your parent told you to clean it up. You think your parent is going to be happy with you having a dirty room? No. They're not going to agree with that. So therefore, clean it up. And therefore, your parents will be pleased. So get your house in order, man. So hey, let's get to this video. We're going to hit a couple points. We're not going to hit the whole thing because the whole thing is about an hour. But, you know, we're just going to hit a couple points, man. I'm going to let it play. Pray it's edifying. All right. And we're going to stop it, you know, when I see fit. So let's run it.
Distinction 1. A passing thought and a dominant thought are not the same thing. Atkinson begins with a simple distinction. Not every thought carries the same influence. Thousands of thoughts move through the mind during an ordinary day. You remember something you forgot to do. You replay part of a conversation. You wonder what you will eat later. Most of these thoughts appear, remain briefly, and disappear. Atkinson was interested in the ones that return. Suppose you make a mistake at work and think, "I'm not very good at this." On its own, the sentence may mean little, but then it returns during the next difficult assignment. It appears again when someone performs better than you, and once more when an opportunity demands confidence. The words have not changed, but their position in your mind has. What began as a reaction is becoming an expectation. Atkinson believed that every return gives a thought additional force. He described this through the language of vibration. A repeated thought, especially one connected with strong emotion, creates a more powerful mental current than an idea entertained only once.
Yeah. So, as we say all the time, this is a lifestyle, man. Okay? This is your culture and your custom. This isn't something that is a trend. And for you individuals in the back that ain't really listening, this is not a movement. This is the Hebrew Israelite movement. No, it's not no movement. All right? This is something that always was and always will be. It's never been no movement. So don't come into this thing with that type of mentality going back to your mind, because that's showing that your mind is corrupted. All right? Well, you're thinking that this is a movement. You're thinking that this is something that's going to be here today and gone tomorrow. But it's not that. You new to this, right? So you're open to this. You're like, yo, this is the truth. This is what we've been looking for our entire life. The Wadi Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, that we found it. Because this is it. This is what's going to keep you stable. It's going to keep you grounded. It's going to keep you level and balanced through the times which are coming, which we are in Jacob's trouble. All right? So you want to hold on to this ark. You want to be inside of it. You want to be under the shadow of thy wings to be protected in that strong tower. Right? This is Jeremiah 17:5. Thus saith Yahawah, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from Yahawah. Bahasham Yahawashi. The heart, going back to the mind, going back to the mental, going back to your mentality. So don't allow the words of these men, all right, on this earth to shape your mentality and your heart and to pull it away from Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. You want to be around individuals that's going closer and closer to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. As you see on the comment board, the brother said, Shalawam, Ahtham, all right, Halalyam, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakadash, Barak, Ahtham. Those type of men. Individuals that their first thought in the morning is the Wadi Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, I'm alive. Right? The Wadi Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you brought me back. Okay? That's their first thought. That's their first and last thought of every single day. You wake up, you pray. You go to sleep, you pray. You pray throughout the day. Your mindset is invested on the habitation of justice, which is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So that's on my Donnell Jones, where I want to be. You know? Where I want to be, man. That's where we want to be. Okay? We don't want to be down here. And we're not about to take risks and try to play around with something else. No, we found a good thing. You found a good thing, baby, right? So we found a good thing, and we're going to stay with that good thing. Okay? You know? What's that song? What kind of man? You got a mighty man or something? What? You found a good man. What is that joint, man? Like, it's Salt and Pepper or some shit. You found a great man. Whatever. I can't remember it slipping my mind. But what a man, what a man. Well, thank you, what a mighty good man. That's Yahawashi. Okay? What a mighty good man. What a man, what a man, what a man. So why would we look for another? Why is your mindset or your mentality trying to find another? You found the best. So I'm going to tell you like I told my ex. You ain't going to find nothing better out there. All right? You ain't going to find nothing better out there. All right? Yahawashi going to tell your ass that when you try to leave him and go somewhere else. You ain't going to find nothing better out there. All right? So you got to keep that in your mentality, man. Okay? When you trying to make man, you trying to trust it in man and make it flesh his arm. We trust it in something that's far superior. And whose heart departed from Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Verse 6. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness and a salt land and not inhabited. You're going to get the same judgment that Esau is getting. Okay? At this point in time. That lake of fire, judgments, tortures, all of that type of stuff. You will be tortured in the lake of fire amongst the holy angels and the Lamb. All right? Because of the path that you chose. The men that you seeked after to put your trust in. All right? Over here worshiping IUIC. Over here worshiping Bishop Nathaniel. Over here worshiping General Yohana. These men don't even go out on the highways and hedges no more. Are they truly following the orders that the king has set? That Yahawah has set? Are they truly following the mission statement? We're supposed to bid people to the marriage. That's never changed. Right? So, why are you following men that don't follow the mission? Are you therefore following your real purpose? And you have to ask yourself that question, man. Are you doing what Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has ordained you to do, man? Okay? Verse 7. Blessed is the man that trusteth in Yahawah, and whose hope Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is. So we trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Taking it back to that Proverbs 3. All right? And our hope is in him as well. And that's it. Because what a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. That's Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, man. It's nothing better, man. Okay? And if you don't have that same understanding, then you're not going to last long in this thing. If you're thinking that something is better than Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, then I'm going to tell you right now, you're highly mistaken to the 144th power, man. All right? You are mistaken. Okay? Verse 8. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters. Now what? You're going to be nourished. A tree planted by the waters shall grow up strong and have incredibly strong roots because they got all that water. Where a tree planted, let's say, meters or feet or whatever away from the water is not going to be as strong as you when you was planted right beside the river. So you're growing up. You ever saw those whomping willows and their branches and stuff is hanging over the water? And you used to, you see individuals on movies and stuff, they'll swing, put the tire swing on the tree, and they'll swing off the tree into the water. But that's because that tree is extremely strong, where it can hold a human. It can hold the tire swing. It's not going to break. And that is the men of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. They're extremely strong. Where these individuals that don't have the proper foundation and they're not planted by the water, they're over here and they're ultimately falling down in the hurricanes. They're falling down in the tornadoes. Their roots are getting pulled up. The birds is coming and eating them when they was planted. The thorns is choking them. You understand? They were sold in stony ground. They couldn't even get roots down. But we are with that good tree, man. All right? So we're strong and we're tough. And we're constantly getting the water. This is that living water. It doesn't run out. So this river is going to continue flowing. All right? For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. So men of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi are going to plant seeds, and seeds are going to sprout up, and other men are going to sprout up from those men. That's what you're going to see. Other men sprouting up from those men. You're going to go forth and teach others. Being no longer fishermen of fish, but fishermen of men. All right? And you're gathering these men and bringing them back to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. All right? And then they're going to go forth and do exactly what you did. The cycle continues. You walk into other men's labors, man. Okay? So keeping it going. Verse 9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? As the video said, it's a difference between a passive thought and a dormant thought. Some thoughts just jump in your head and they just be in there and they go out. Some thoughts, they'll be there and it may be like it's more emphasis to you. It may mean more to you. And you're going to add to that thought. You're going to constantly think about it. You're going to be like boom, boom, boom. And the demons, let's say it's a negative thought. The demons are going to hawk onto that thought. They're going, oh, I got him. I got him. Let me jump on that thought. Let me make sure I emphasize and push that thought in. Okay? Now let me constantly build that up and put ammo on it. That's what the demons want to do. All right? You may have a feeling, hey, Yahawah ain't dealing with me. A demon going to love to hear that. And then a demon is going to jump on that thought and add to it. Yeah, man, you know, brothers don't share my videos. Brothers don't come to the live. They don't comment. A demon gonna throw all them foolish thoughts your way. And you actually gonna start believing that Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi is not dealing with you. Okay? So you really gotta rebuke your thoughts. This is the mind. And Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi set up this mind in these sinful bodies like this to be a challenge to you, to be an obstacle to you. This is why, as Paul said, you want to get your flesh in subjection, all right? Because this is the main mental battlefield that you're going to have to face. You versus you. Not you versus the next brother. Not you versus a brother over there. No. It's everybody is fighting against themselves, man. Okay? And if you learn how to control your emotions and your anger, then other people's emotions and anger is not really going to affect you like that. You need to get to a point where you will not let others make you mad. When Yahawashi was being questioned by Pilate, he stood there, hey, thou sayest. Hey, you say I'm bugged out? Thou sayest. You say I'm a wicked ass individual? Thou sayest. Hey, whatever you want to say, I am. Whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would you say I am? You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality you got to have, bro. Okay? They say whatever. They going to say whatever about you. You understand? What the brother say? The reoccurrence. Yeah. The old man. Exactly. The old man going to come up. Let me see what else y'all brothers said in the comments. Hey, Shalawam, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Barak, Ahtham, to every brother and sister up in here. All right, the brother said, told my ex, if you leave me, you're making a poor decision. But Eve don't listen. Yeah. And you have to learn those poor decisions when, you know, the time is least desired. That's when those females and those individuals that scoffed and mocked at this thing is going to finally figure it out. Damn, he was right. And that's all they're going to be saying. When they see you going up into the chariots, Yahawah, and they see the nukes coming down. That's the wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. All right? They're going to learn the hard way. The brother said, my brother-in-law is in the IUIC. and lives like a slob, worried about money, money, money. Okay, see? That's the mentality over there. All right? Those are real, they're real deal NIGGAs, you know, in the world. That's all they are. IUIC and ISUPK. That's all they are, is niggas, man. Okay? They haven't reformed their old man. That's why they still getting lineups, dreads, all right, sex on the Sabbath. They doing all these different type of things. All right, law this, law that. They're trying to appeal to men when we are appealing and pleasing Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? So it's not the correct way that the scriptures actually talks about. Okay? I get that precept. Psalms 139 and 24. And it reads, and see, actually, let's go up. Okay? I love this right here. All right, let's go up to verse 17. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O power. How great is the sum of them. Now, consider that. Because as we talking about mental warfare, consider this. That the Most High has a mind. And the Most High has thoughts for you to prosper. Have you ever thought about that? The Most High is thinking about you. You ever think about that, yo? We're his apple. The apple in his eye, man. Okay? If you're doing right and pleasing him, he's thinking about you in a good light. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And that should bring a smile to your face, man. I don't care how broke you are. I don't care what you're going through, what kind of dis-ease you got. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is thinking about you and has plans to pull you up out of this. Right? It should please you. It should make you feel good. Right? Just how a basic relationship is, you and your wife. And your wife, hey, I was thinking about you. And you like, I was thinking about you too. Like, you know, whatever. But that's puppy love and all that shit. But that's a good thing. It's a good feeling to be thought about. So don't ever forget that Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is thinking about you, man. He loves you. If you love him and you think about him, it's giving back. So, and you can't love him enough. You can't praise him enough. It's no limit. Whatever you do for him, he's going to outdo it. You understand? So this is the type of relationship that we are in. Where it's always, the other side is always going to be better. He's always going to lift us up and give us better. I got you a gift. No, I got you. You don't know what I got you. I got you things that you can't even fathom. I got you a whole planet. I got you a whole galaxy. I got you slaves. I got you wives. I got seeds for you to have. I got thousands and thousands of kids that I want you to have. Right? I got rulership. I got dominion. I got power. You understand how much he cares about us? Whenever you get down, man, think about that. Okay? Verse 19. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O power. He's going to what? He's going to slay our enemies. He's going to slay the wicked. All right? Heathen nations and the wicked amongst our nation that persecute us, that come at us, that hate us, that scoff and mock us because they hate him. They can't get to him. They can't touch him. So therefore, they're going to come to us. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O power. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. These are men that love to do murder. Proverbs, the 1st chapter. They make haste, evil men. They make haste to do sin. All right? These are bloody men, especially Esau Edom. He loves blood. He pursues blood. He drinks blood. He thinks that his sacrifice that he's given to the Most High has always been the wrong sacrifice. But he wants to go forth and do it his own way. I'm going to give you this sacrifice. No, that's not what he required. And that's never, you know, you're setting it up thinking that he requires that. But he doesn't. Just how he didn't want your fruit. All right? You've been a murderer since the beginning. So Esau has been a bloody man from the beginning. And therefore, those of our nation that are weak and that can't love and see Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi because of their incredulity, they latch on and attach to this bloody man and they become bloody men, right? This is their head. If your head ain't Yahawashi, then what is it? Answer that question. All right? Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O power. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly. They talk about us. And thy enemies take thy name in vain. They talk about the Most High. Okay? And you should feel, you should feel some type of jealous. You should feel, hey, bro, don't talk about my pops. Just point blank period. Don't talk about my dad. All right? It's on sight. You know what I'm saying? So don't talk about the Most High. But we understand that these individuals are bugged out. All right? And we have to be the bigger man. And we know that ultimately, he's going to destroy them. Ultimately, he's going to bring them down. Ultimately, all right? So you take that anger that you feel and you mold that and you put that into an edifying lesson to feed the ones that actually care about him, right? Hey, look at what this bug out was saying. Look at what this individual was saying. Let's break this down and make this edifying. So we take lemons and make lemonade, right? What they say about one man's trash is another man's treasure, all right? So we take what they didn't like, what they mistreated, what they twisted, and we make that beautiful. And you know what I'm saying? That's how we do it. They didn't understand the Bible. They don't understand this truth. Okay? Keeping it going. Verse 20. For they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Yahawah, that hate thee. We hate them that hate him. And he hates the wicked. He hates the sinners. We have that type of emotion in us as well. Emotions are not a bad thing, right? Your mental is not a bad thing, okay? Every thought is not a bad thought. You just got to know and have discernment to figure out which thought is a bad thought, which thought is a good thought, okay? And you got to have accountability and being able to examine yourself. Through these examinations, you should get better at learning and dissecting yourself. You should get better at learning and knowing what is good and what is bad. To make a difference between the profane and the clean, between the crooked and the straight. You are being tested and given skill traits and characteristics to be a righteous judge, which is a priest and a king. That's what we're in training, man. It's a simulation. It's Avatar. All right? These are Avatar suits. We just ain't blue. But your soul in this, and you down here, you're going through a simulation, all right? And you die, you going back up to the Most High. Okay? And you're going to be judged based upon the simulation. All right? So it's important to keep that in mind, man. This is not the end. The dying in this right now is not the end. So Esau could what? Esau could take us out. But he can't have no hold on the soul, but that's what he wants to do. As he show you in all these different type of shows like Altered Carbon and Cyberpunk 2077 and all these different type of shows where he wants to take the soul, harness it, put it in a chip, and then make a clone and put it in that new body. But you'll never be able to do that. The Most High will never allow you to have the ability to possess the soul. The soul does not belong to you, man. Okay? So verse 21, do not I hate them, O Yahawah, that hate thee, and am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies with a perfect hatred. Search me, O power, and know my heart, my mental. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. All right? So it's not wrong to hate your enemies. If anybody ever told you that, it's not. Right? Now, your fellow Israelite, yeah, we love our fellow Israelite even if they're against us. Okay? But you also got to understand, we hope that the Most High would turn their mind to come back to him, right? We don't got no heaven or hell, you know, ain't no such thing as hell, but we don't have no position to judge ultimately as the ultimate judge, right? Now, we do judge in a smaller capacity, but I can't ultimately put a brother in the lake of fire, okay? Or I can't give a brother salvation, right? So keep that in mind. So you want your brothers to leave their foolishness and leave their folly and come into this truth. You want that to happen, right? I don't want to see my brother out in the rain, getting rained on and getting sick and getting disease and dying ultimately. I don't want to see that. But we understand it's a 2/3, it's a 1/3. It's how the story was written, right? So if as you know, the elders say, if a nigga can't get it, we moving on, all right? So let's get back to the video, man. All right.
Even if we leave the question of vibration open, the practical effect is familiar. Repetition makes a thought easier to think again. The mind recognizes the root and returns to it with less effort. Imagine two employees receiving the same criticism. The first thinks, I need to improve this part of my work. The criticism remains connected to a specific task. The second already carries the thought, no one takes me seriously. For this person, the criticism means something larger. It becomes evidence for an existing conclusion. The supervisor may have delivered exactly the same message, but it entered two different mental environments. An event never enters an empty mind. It enters a mind already organized around certain expectations, and those expectations influence what the event is allowed to mean. A dominant thought, therefore, does more than appear frequently. It becomes a center around which other experiences are arranged. If the dominant thought is, people cannot be trusted, disappointments receive more attention than loyalty. If it is, money never stays with me, every unexpected expense feels like confirmation. If it is, I never finish anything, one abandoned project can outweigh 5 things completed successfully.
All right, let's stop it right there. Now, understanding this is you're beating yourself in the beginning. Like, you're destroying yourself before you even get started by telling yourself certain things. Okay? You know, as it says, I never finished anything, but you just finished 5 things. But now you don't finish a certain thing, and now you're like, boom, 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 you're getting down. Don't get down on yourself. Don't tell yourself that you suck, or you can't preach, or you're bad at breakdowns, or whatever. No, that's you're gonna be attacked and persecuted and suffer so much from this world. You don't need to be the person that's knocking yourself down. Alright? Man, I remember in our house growing up, you know, my mama used to tell us this. Bro, you know, y'all, the world is about to fight y'all so much. Y'all don't need to be fighting each other for me and my sister. Okay? Like, y'all, we gotta stick together. So how much more with yourself in your own temple, in your house? You gotta be you gotta be confident in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and be confident in yourself. A lot of Jake, but this is because Esau, he what? He knocks down your self-esteem. I'm looking at all these different type of movies, man. What is Jake normally painted as? And I bet I'm gonna ask this question to the comment board. What is Jake normally painted as in a movie? And watch how the answer is the same. What is Jake normally painted as in the movies? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Right, I don't even gotta say nothing. Because that's the mental warfare that's going against our people. Alright? Yeah, deadbeat dad, rapper, thug, drug dealer, criminal, villain. Exactly. What Jadakiss say? Why Denzel had to be crooked before he took it. Before he got a Academy Award, he had to play the crooked cop. Okay? You know? Lazy. Yeah, all these things are synonyms. Rapper. We can't be anything other than a rapper, a basketball player, or an entertainer. All right? Or a football player, or whatever. Sports. We can't do nothing with our mind. We can't, but when you piece that back, you piece that mental warfare back, and you start examining our people and our culture and our history, then you understand that, Jake, we created all of this, man. Let's get a precept real quick. All right? So this warfare is ancient. It's ancient. They have the power, they have the propaganda machine, they have the news outlet to paint us in a light how they want to paint us. Right? And then they got the nerve to tell you that it's not race. When they hanging Jake over here, Jake over here, Jake over here, Jake over here. But it has nothing to do with race. But it's only Jakes being hung. I mean, I don't see no Edomites being hung. Anybody? Can y'all find me an Edomite that's been hung in the last week or so? I don't think so. This is Jeremiah 10 and 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them. We ain't like them. For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahawah of hosts is his name. So we are set apart. We are above the rest of these people. Everything that they do, we created. Even perfect example, days of the week came from us, Norse mythology, when we was Vikings. We was bugged out, and we created Thor and Ragnarok and Valhalla and all of that, Odin and all of that type of stuff. Right? We created all these false gods and stuff of that nature, right? But you see how these nations cleave onto it, okay? So even in our wickedness, they want to be like us, right? Let alone our righteousness, they calling themselves Judah, Levi, Benjamin. I mean, I don't know what happened to the northern kingdom for the small hats. They say the northern kingdom don't exist no more, I guess. But they want to be us, all right? They took our identity. They're in our land. They're trying to take our customs and our ways, right? They're even using the Hebrew, which is incorrect. It's the Yiddish. It's Slavic, German, and Hebrew in there mixed together. That's not a pure language. Zephaniah 3 and 9, that's not that. That's not Isaiah 19 and 18, okay? That's something else. But the fact is, and the fact remains, is that they want to be us, the entire planet. In my time in Japan, I never knew what to expect. But when I got over there, I saw Japanese women wearing Jordans, dressing fly, and kicks, and fresh, looking like hip-hop video girls. I'm like, what is this? This is our culture. This is us. So you go all over the world, and you're going to see our culture everywhere. Not just in America, but you're going to see our culture in the UK, in Africa, in China, in Japan, in Australia, in Germany, in Russia. Places that you would not think. Romania. All right? You're going to see Jakes everywhere. And it's what? It's to the means of us being scattered and to the means of everybody wanting to be like us. And you get up out of America, bro. Trust me, women out there love a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American. You don't get the same love in America, but you're going to get some love out there. Trust and believe me, man. All right? So it stems back to us being the former of all things and this world wanting to be like us. It's like in their spirit and in their soul, they want the righteous to rule again. Proverbs 29 and 2. They want us to be in rulership once again. This is Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. They want us to be in authority. This is why white women want an Israelite. This, to you Edomites that listen from the outside, this is why your women want to be with us. All right? They tired of They tired of they tired of that. All right? They want a real man. All right? They want that. Okay? You know what they want. She tired of faking in the bedroom. I'm going to just say it like that. All right? They want to be with a real man. And they going to get that very soon. Trust and believe that. So when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So the nations are mourning right now because the wicked are bearing rule. Let me see what y'all brothers got in the comments. All right. Yep. All right, I don't see no precepts. All right, so, don't let all this propaganda that Esau puts out steer you away or make you think less than yourself. You are a son of power, man. If you're a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, you are amazing. All right, and you have a particular gift. Okay, you may not be as charismatic as this brother. You may not be all into the herbs like this brother. You may not be into the music like this brother. You may not be able to draw like this brother, but you have whatever the Most High has given you. We are all created unique, and we all come together for this common purpose, which is this truth, man. So have some self-esteem in yourself, Jake, right? Don't let this world beat you down, man. All right, I'm going to get a little bit more of this, and then, we're going to wrap it up. I don't want this to be too long.
The thought begins selecting evidence. It gives certain memories more importance than others, and gradually creates the impression that it has simply been describing reality all along. This process is easy to miss because dominant thoughts rarely appear during formal reflection. They appear in casual comments. I knew this would happen. Things never work out for me. I'm simply not that kind of person. A thought does not need to be part of a meditation practice to become influential. It only needs to be repeated often enough and accepted with enough emotion. This also explains why positive affirmations sometimes produce little change. A person may repeat, "I am confident," for 5 minutes in the morning, then spend the rest of the day anticipating embarrassment, avoiding attention, and interpreting silence as rejection. Which thought is dominant? Atkinson would say the answer is revealed by what the mind returns to naturally, especially when pressure appears. This does not mean that every negative thought is dangerous. A passing doubt is not a command, and an unpleasant idea is not a prediction. The important question is whether the thought is passing through your mind, or whether your mind has begun organizing experience around it. There is a simple clue. A passing thought still sounds like something you are considering. I am worried that I might fail. A dominant thought sounds like something you already know. I always fail. The first describes a present fear. The second announces a law. Before trying to replace anything, begin by observing the conclusions you reach repeatedly. What do you predict whenever uncertainty appears? Which sentence returns when an opportunity asks more from you? Which thoughts no longer sound like thoughts because they have begun sounding like facts?
Well, we're going to stop it right there. So let's go to Romans 12. And I'm going to go into like a little, kind of like a little testimony of something that I had, right? I'm a misanthrope, man. Which I'm actually discovering a lot of brothers are. Misanthropes, dealing with misanthropy, where we don't like to be around others, due to how the world treated us or whatever it be, whatever, man. Whatever has came in our walks, in our lots, right? And and that's going back to this, where we put in our mind thoughts of, man, people ain't shit, or people gonna manipulate you, or people gonna betray you, or people gonna do you dirty. But you also have to understand, when you're coming to this thing, you gotta open up and you gotta align with the scriptures. And you ultimately gotta have faith. If you believe that these are the men of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, then you gotta come up out of your shell. You gotta come up out of your bubble, and you gotta at least try to be around. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much the world was bad to you, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi is trying to give you a brotherhood and a sense of hope and a sense of bond and unity to come in that is actually going to heal you in turn. So I love to go to camp. I love to be around the brotherhood, man. I love being around brothers because now you're around like-minded men, right? That speak the same thing as we are supposed to be. So you used to be outside of the body, lost in a darkness, but now you're attached to the body, and the body is now helping to heal you. Once you really study the body, I understand why Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi used the body as an analogy, like the kidneys, the liver, and bro, if your liver isn't functioning right, then your skin is gonna start filtrating disease, and that's how you get bumps and acne. So if you got a lot of bumps and acne, it's because your liver is shot. You drinking too much alcohol. So you gotta cut that back. You gotta, cleanse out your liver, and your skin will start actually looking better. You see how things are connected, right? So that's major. You feeling sluggish and stuff, then your kidney ain't cleansing your blood as well. You gotta cleanse the kidney, stop doing what you're doing, right? So everything supports one another. Now let's go over to Romans 12 and 9. We're gonna end it over here. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Let's get the word dissimulation. It means unfringed, undisguised, or sincere. So show true love to brothers, man. Don't be faking. Don't hold grudges, and don't have alternative motives in your mind for none of this, man. You got to come and be yourself. Okay? 2 Corinthians 10 and 5 from the brother Barak, Shalawam, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of power, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. Good. Every thought, because the title of the lesson is mental warfare. So that's a perfect scripture, which is letting you know this is what we're ultimately trying to do. We're trying to bring into obedience this body, all right? The best that we can. You're not going to bring it into obedience 100%. That'll only happen in the kingdom. But while we're here, just as Yahawashi did, just as Paul tried to do, we try to bring this flesh into subjection, all right? We try to sin less, offend less. It says offend less because Yahweh knows you're going to offend. But you want to offend less, right? So let's go back to Romans 12 and 10. Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. So I'm like, if I go forth and I'm moving in this aspect, I expect that same aspect to be treated and given to me. I love brothers. I treat brothers with respect, then that comes back this way, right? And that's what you're going to get in the brotherhood. You're going to get a similitude of love, man. You're going to get love. What you give out is what you're going to get back. And that's ultimately in a universal, really, law, right? You reap what you sow. So what you put out is what you get back, right? And Esau is soon going to figure that out. And he knows it. He knows it, really. But he's trying to run from it. That's why he's stalling right now. Because he knows once he hits that button, then everything is going to come toppling down, right? He know he got to pay for everything that he's done. Keeping it going. Verse 11. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So not slothful in what you do. Don't be slothful in your works. When you do your works, go forth and do them be enthusiastic. I was happy to do this lesson, man. All right, and I was going to be on here earlier, but my daughter had pooped, and then she had to take a bath, and, dealing with whatever, homeschool and all that. But I was anxious to do this lesson, so I just meditated on it, up until this point when I'm doing it. So that's a good way to go, is meditate on what you're about to bring out. Don't just, I got this thought, let me just bring it out. No, think about it. Allow it to flow in the spirit, right? Think about it. Build up some precepts. Go get some evidence. Go get maybe a video, get an article. Do some research on it. And then bring it out so it can be, to the utmost edification to the flock. So brothers can really be edified and learn more than just you sitting on camera flapping your gums, man. All right? Verse 12. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation. That's one that, a lot of brothers is going to have a problem with, being patient in tribulation. Especially a carnal-minded Jake, where now Judah is being roused up. And Jake don't want to be patient in these tribulations. They don't want to be patient in blackouts. They don't want to be patient in financial situations, financial woes. They don't want to be patient in losing their woman. They don't want to be patient in ICE door-to-door. They don't want to be patient when we in prison for 10 days, which is a perfect number of days. So it could be months, whatever, years, whatever it be. All right? Are you going to be patient in these times? All of that is tribulation. You must be patient in tribulations, man. Continually instant in prayer. That's what you should be haste to do. Instant haste to pray. Be haste to pray. That's the first thing you do when you in some shit. All right? Is pray. And you should be praying before that. So instant in prayer. So that's your communication. And that communication with Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, it, like we say, a strong tower, the name of Yahawah, it right there fortifies you and it makes you stronger. So doing this mental warfare, which you're going through, right, by communicating with your chain of command, by communicating with headquarters, by throwing up that prayer, hey, I need some supplies. I need a supply drop. Y'all brothers play Call of Duty all the time, right? Okay, supply drop coming down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You can play all these games, but you can't put the pieces together and how it's a spiritual aspect of war. Okay? I need to get to the extraction point. We trying to get to the extraction point to get up out of here. Right? So the elders was bringing this out at camp on Saturday with Army Rangers. As Elder Apostle Ricard was going into it. And I watched the movie War Machine. Right? And the dude was an Army Ranger in the movie. And he came in to do a certain mission, and then they had to get to the extraction point. Now, some other stuff happened in between, but regardless, he didn't expect this stuff to happen, but you still have to deal with it. You may not expect this to happen, or this to happen, or this to happen. And then in the moment, you like, man, I don't know how to deal with this. Well, pray. Call headquarters. All right? Pray. And don't panic. We don't panic. We have not been given a spirit of fear. So be patient in tribulation. Don't panic in tribulation. Continuing instant in prayer. Distributing to the necessity of saints. Giving to hospitality. We're giving out what the saints need. What the flock need. Brothers and sisters already is kind of chaotic and toxic due to Esau Edom. So therefore, I don't think they need a debate. I don't think they need one Christian versus 10 Hebrew Israelites. I don't think they need that, Captain Tazariot. I don't think they need none of that. Or one Hebrew Israelite versus 10 Christians. Okay? I don't think they need marching in the street. They need what Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi said they needed. Not what you think they need, but they need what is a necessity to them. So distributing, giving out to the necessity of saints. We're giving them what they need. Not what they want. You may want entertainment. You may want to see a brother, hey, somebody in the comments want to come up so I can cut them up. No. That cut a Christian spirit up, man. Fuck that shit. I'm not here to cut up Christians. Christians is dumb as fuck. I think you know that they dumb as fuck. Why do I got to tell you one more time that they dumb as fuck? I excuse my French, but I don't got to tell you that. If you can't see that they dumb, I mean, seriously, man. You know? Seriously. Well, maybe he could get it, but he ain't gonna get it, brother. Alright? And if he was meant to get it, if he was sincere, he would go to the page. He would search the page. He would be diligent. He would search it with diligence and discipline. And you know, maybe Yahawah will draw him. And if that's the case, then beautiful. Right? But we not here to deal with them. I don't tell you the truth. I don't like talking to people. All right? Because people will be full of shit. You know what I'm saying? So we are here to edify. To edify. Right? Keeping it going. Verse 14. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice. And weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one towards another. Mind not high things, but condescend of men to men of low estate. All right? Be not wise in your own conceits. Now, this is all stemming back to Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. Okay? That whole chapter where we read first, everything trickles off of that. It's about having that mental fortitude when you're in this mental warfare. Not getting distracted. Esau wants to distract your mind. He distract your mind. He get you thinking about something else the entire day. Then he's going to pull you that way. You out on the battlefield thinking about your wife sleeping with somebody else. You're going to get shot. You know? You're not paying attention. You don't see a sniper over there. He got a red beam on your head. Man, she probably laying with him right now. The sniper didn't care. The sniper don't care about your wife and her hoe ass. You understand? The sniper did not care at all. He just popped you. Alright? So, on this battlefield, bro, don't get distracted. Don't be thinking about all this other stuff. Keep your mind on the goal. Tunnel vision. Alright? You know, let's get a little bit more. Recompense. And really, 16 again. Be of the same mind one towards another. So going back into the point of being a misanthrope and not like being around people, being an introvert, right? Being of the same mind. So thinking and knowing, hey, these brothers read the Bible like I read the Bible. So it's gonna be up that. These are your brothers. These brothers are your brothers. You understand? Don't be looking at them like they not. These are your brothers. So I would expect them to look at me as a brother. Right? We are brothers, man. We love one another. Right? I'm here for you. You here for me. We trying to raise one another up. We trying to make each other sharp. So therefore, this platoon can move with efficiency. We can all move sharp. We can all move together. We're all in unison. We're all good. We're all thinking the same thing. Right? Verse 17. And furthermore on that, mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. And that goes back into being apt to teach, adjusting, and knowing how to deal with a brother that may be newer in this thing. He may not understand reincarnation or regeneration. Okay? And it's not for him to get that yet. Okay, bro, we just going to talk to you like this. Let's break this down. Let's take it here. Let's take it there. This is not about boasting in your knowledge and saying you know this and you know this to make you sound good. It ain't about that. Right? This is about edifying on whatever level a brother is on. Right? It's not about sounding intelligent or sounding educated or none of that. We teach plain upon tables. Okay? I want every lesson to be where a new brother that just came in yesterday, he can understand it. And a brother that's been in for 10 years, he's getting something from it. That's a perfect lesson right there if you're talking about a good lesson where everybody is getting edified from it. This truth is everlasting. It does not run out. Mind not high things, so don't be high-minded, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Don't think that the things that you've done and your accomplishments and all these lessons and how many times you done went on the corner and how many brothers you done brought in this truth, and I don't think that stuff, don't let that lift you up. Be low. Be low and constantly be low. Remember that your righteousness is as filthy rags, man. Okay? Verse 17, recompense to no man evil for evil. Don't be tit for tat. Don't be petty. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Do your best to live peaceably with all men. Okay? You know, and that's extremely important, man. Love one another. Treat one another with respect. Be considerate and sincere. Dearly beloved. And furthermore, that goes into the heathens. Okay? Just because it's an Edomite at your job, well, you aren't supposed to cuss him out, bro. You're supposed to live peaceably. You're supposed to be Clark Kent. Alright? You know? And you know he got a demon on him already. You know these heathens at their job got a demon on you. I mean, on them. Okay? So you got to be the bigger man. This is a test for you. It's a test for us to go to these jobs and work amongst these heathens. These servants. You understand? So that may be one of your biggest tests. But you got to maintain self-control. Do you know self-esteem and self-confidence right there is a major defense weapon. It's a major defense because you can say whatever you want to say about me, but I know who I am. So really, whatever you saying, that shit don't matter, bro. All right? You don't pay my bills. All right? You don't make me shit. You don't make me piss. You don't cook my food. You don't put gas in my car. You don't do any of that. You're not going to do these lessons for me. You're not going to work out my own salvation with fear and trembling. This is my salvation. I got to work it out on my own. So all this stuff that it doesn't matter, bro. Okay? You know, so let these heathens talk. Let them talk. Let them do whatever they want to do. They being sneaky. They trying to trap you. They trying to set you up. Pray about it. Go to the Creator about his creations. Don't get carnal. Hey, bro, meet me outside, bro. You been talking shit. No, that's how you get fired. All right? So if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. I remember in the military, okay, it was this individual, and he was actually a Dominican, you know, of the tribe of Simeon. And, you know, I'm thinking about this situation now, and I'm understanding it. It was the curses. All right? Brother just had a problem with me. And he was lazy. So I had a problem with him because he was slothful. He was lazy. He was just trying to get through and not do no work and shit. So one day, we have a thing on the ship what we call cleaning stations, where you got to clean for 30 minutes, you know. And we was at the mountain. It's this mountain with all these aircraft parts that I ran. And he was down there and we was cleaning. And then I don't know, we just got into it. And then we was behind this big crate and we was about to fight. Like he pushed me, I pushed him. And then it was like, I was mad. But our supervisor, which was a Jake, he was Judah, he jumped in between us and he stopped us. But now I can look at it and recognize, yo, this was the curses. This was Northern Kingdom hating Southern Kingdom. Because like I said, the brother was a Dominican. All right? You know, but, you know, I prayed. I used to pray back. I prayed all the time. I prayed, and we had landed in Hong Kong, and I was at a bar, and Hong Kong is kind of big. He ended up at the same fucking bar. I kid you not. No lie. He ended up at the same bar. I was at the same bar as him. We was at the same bar, man. All right? And I ain't really drink because I think I was like 19 at the time or 20, you know, but he was older than me. So he was drinking and he was drunk. And maybe it was that drunk. I don't know. But he was like, hey, man, you know, hey, no hard feelings, bro. You know, but, you know, you cool, man. You know, it's just, you know, sometimes work be getting to me, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I was like, yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good, blah, blah, blah. So, hey, we was cool. We was cool from that day, right? So this goes back to, if it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceable with all men. Because it's you don't want to have that tension where you working with somebody and y'all almost fought. So now it's like every time you see that person, it's like that situation is going to grow, you know, and fester. And that demon is going to try to pit y'all against one another and put y'all in a bad position, because one of y'all is going to fight each other. Y'all going to fight eventually. Egos and stuff collided. But in this truth, you have to rebuke that shit, okay? And drop your pride and drop your ego and push that to the side. So I didn't know the names back then, but I knew how to pray. So I prayed, and ultimately Yahawah had me end up in that same bar with him. And he came up to me, him being drunk, and apologized for everything, you know? And that was like, that's the Lord. So the Lord will ultimately work it out, man. All right? He will work it out. When you least expect it, in a crazy coincidence, he's going to work it out. It's no free will. He was like, all right, let me go get my servant. Let me go take care of my servant. Let me go fix this situation for he knock the brother out. Let me go fix this situation. Yo. So, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith Yahawah. So Yahawah will work these situations out. He's going to work these situations out between you and another brother if it's an issue. All right? Or if he wants to judge either one of you, he's going to judge you. Okay? So at the end of the day, you got to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do according to the laws, commandments, and statutes. Don't worry about what that brother is doing. You rebuke him, you correct him. He don't want to take it, so be it. Let it be. All right? Let it be. Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Great. Then let Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi work. Okay? That's the same with these two. Look at the 2/3. They don't want to listen to us. So we got to let Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi work. And he's eventually going to judge. Vengeance is in his hand. So don't put on your mental all this other stuff that you got to deal with and you got to go through. Okay? Last two verses. Verse 20. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. And if he thirst, give him drink. Remember? Don't be tit for tat. Don't give evil for evil. Don't be petty. You take care of a brother, man. All right? It don't matter if you're standing with a brother. All right? You need some water? Hey, bro, here you go, bro. Here goes some water, bro. All right? I don't care if he tripping on us. That's as it says. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. So let it be. Continue. Continue in righteousness. Let it be. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Right? Yahawashi went forth and healed many, and dealt with many, and taught many, and fed many. Everybody at those 5,000 he fed, all of them ain't the elect. Some just show up to eat and drink. Some just here to eat and drink, and some is just gonna disappear and not care. Hey, that's their lot. That's it. It is what it is. What can you do about it? Nothing. All right, you know. But Yahawashi still did the work, right? He still stood up there and preached to those 5,000, regardless if some was just hungry. You might have people leaving mid-lesson. Okay, so what? Right? It is what it is. You can't control none of that. So don't put it on your mental and thinking about all of that. Just think about what you need to do to work out your own salvation and, with fear and trembling. All right? So, with that being said, I pray this was an edifying one, man. All right? Don't beat yourself up in the head. All right? mental health, you know, this mental warfare, psychological warfare that Esau is coming at us with. All right, it's one of his main weapons. Fear-mongering and all this different type of stuff, right? But you can overcome this with Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Moving and acting the correct way as the scriptures laid out. Not as the world or the precepts of men lay out, but as the scriptures laid out. All right, so with that being said, if there's any questions, put them in the comment board. I'm going to face the east, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakodash, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. As always, Shalawam to the Lord, to for elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children. As always, Kwam Yasharahla, and abide Babal. Keep the faith, brothers and sisters. I don't see no questions. So, I'm going to get up on out of here, man. Shalawam, Shalawam.